Good morning, grade 12s. It's week 2 of our new classroom. I hope you are keeping safe. I hope you're keeping sane. And most important, that you are keeping up to date with the work. Every day, just a little bit. Remember, we can't afford to fall behind now, no matter what's going on in the world. There's some things you can control, and there's some things you can't control. And at this point, it's something we can't control, and we have to work around it if you want to succeed. So, moving on to our last topic of macroeconomics. So, just a reminder, macroeconomics is still for paper one. Um, this is the last topic. It consists of circular flow model, business cycles, public sector, foreign exchange market, and then protection and free trade. So this is our last topic. It is very much theory-based. It's not difficult to understand. So we start off with an essay today. There's two essays for this topic. And the first one is export promotion. Tomorrow we look at import substitution, or later today, depending on how much energy I have. But essentially, this topic is about how a government regulates trade, so international trade, whether it's allowed freely or whether businesses are protected from outside competition or international competition. So looking at the definition, which obviously we use as our introduction for our essay for export promotion strategies, when the government pays incentives to encourage the production of goods and services that can be exported. So any business that is producing a good or a service that can be sold in another country, government assists them financially, gives them money in order to help them continue producing and therefore also be able to produce enough for South Africa as well as our international markets. Take note that in textbooks, in articles, and probably in your question paper too, export promotion means exactly the same as export orientated policies. So your essay will be divided into 4 sections. Remember, as Maflodo had said, it won't always be demarcated that way, but you must know that there must be 4 main headings in your essay. Number 1, the reasons for export promotion. 2, methods. 3, advantages. And 4, disadvantages. So first of all, we look at the reasons. Please remember, reasons is answering the question, why? Why do we do export promotion? So, first reason being to achieve significant export-led economic growth, meaning our economy can grow because of the increase in production of goods and services, but it's also not determined by domestic conditions. So we're not relying only on the South African market to keep purchasing or to sustain our economic growth, but we're relying on other countries as well. So it will be more stable. Next, um, if businesses are exporting their goods, it means we've enlarged the production capacity of our country, meaning our businesses are able to produce more and more because we're not only producing for South African citizens, but we're producing for other countries too. Remember, export markets are obviously much bigger than our domestic markets. So we're not only supplying the South African population, but our growth is um, able to expand so that we are satisfying the whole world population rather than just South Africa. Obviously, because we're producing more, businesses will require more employees and therefore more workers will be employed and more jobs will be created. And then also the effect of reducing prices. How are prices reduced? Um, Because businesses are producing more, they can take advantage of economies of scale, meaning the more that we're producing, the less the unit costs are. So it costs less to produce one single item when we are producing more than when we are producing less. So those are reasons. Please, if you're asked an essay, they won't ask you to demarcate, so therefore you can write all of these reasons down. As long as you write them down and you explain them nicely, obviously it's 2 marks per reason. Moving on to our methods. The methods are the most important. They can examine the methods obviously in your essay as well as in paragraph questions. So our first method is incentives. So our incentives are either financially based or qualitative. Meaning it could be informational export markets, research, um, financially to consider that transport costs might be lowered, credit exports, export credits and credit guarantees for exports, so the government guarantees that that business will get paid and get the business, and then publicity. So the government can have big campaigns where when the president or the minister of trade and industry goes overseas, he also promotes those businesses. Next, we have our subsidies. So subsidies are the opposite of a tax. So subsidy is money that the government pays to a business. So cash payments to exporters, refunds, tax rebates, tax concessions, or tax concessions. The word concessions means like a discount. Employment subsidies or assistance in the financing of exports. So maybe the machinery or inputs that the business needs, government will help pay. So on methods, we have what we call trade neutrality. So trade neutrality involves government assisting a business to compete with the businesses in the country in which they want to export to. So let's say we want to export to England and there's a business there that is receiving a subsidy from the English government, then our government has a look at giving the South African business a subsidy which is equal to what the UK or the English government is giving that business so that the English business as well as the South African business can compete in terms of prices. Their prices will be equal. Here we have what we call our export processing zones. An export processing zone is a specifically built industrial park, very similar to um, a housing estate, except it's for business, and it's usually close to an airport or a harbour where the goods or services can be exported straight away. And normally it falls without the customs zone, so they don't have to pay certain tariffs, etc. And it's also a way of achieving trade neutrality. So, what are our advantages? Why would a country want to promote exports? And these advantages are very closely linked to the reasons. So, obviously, the reason we actually promote exports is the advantages. So, if you struggle to remember them when you're writing a test or exam, then think about the reasons why. So, first of all, there's no limitations on our levels of production. Obviously, as we said in our advantages, the international market is much larger than simply supplying the South African market. Also, cost and efficiency, so related to economies of scale, the businesses are going to be able to produce more at lower costs. They are also going to become more efficient. So because of the competition involved, they will naturally find ways to produce the good or the services at a cheaper price. And most importantly, increase domestic production. So because we're producing more and we're exporting more, it frees up foreign exchange for us to import more. So there's a backward linkage in this market. Because we are exporting more, we can import more, and therefore other businesses can also benefit in the production of different goods and services. For example, if we export cars, obviously there's more foreign exchange coming in, and therefore that foreign exchange can be used to import different motorbikes. And lastly, our exchange rates. So as we discussed in topic 4, the South African currency or exchange rate system used is based purely on demand and supply. So as soon as export goods, obviously international business will have to exchange their foreign currency for rand, which creates a great demand for rand, and therefore our exchange rate will, or our rand will appreciate. Disadvantages, why would we not want to follow export promotion strategies? We have to remember that export promotion is government assisting businesses. So therefore, the real cost of production is hidden. Government is giving incentives, government is giving subsidies, and that is lowering the cost for that business. If government stops giving those subsidies, the actual cost of production will be higher. Also, lack of competition because government doesn't financially assist every single business, only the ones that qualify. Therefore, other businesses that don't qualify for those incentives are actually being forced out of the market, and we have less competition. Also suffer increased tariffs and quotas from the developed countries, as developed countries will see product becomes more popular in their country, then that government will obviously be able to afford subsidies for those local businesses. So and that ties in with protection of labour-intensive industries. So if the South African product is forcing the local products out of the market in that country, obviously the locals are going to lose jobs because those businesses will shut down. And before that happens, the developed country will look at protecting that industry and therefore stop those South